If he killed somebody, they wouldn't care. He cheated on his wife. And guess what? They said, well, he's the two-time for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he's the two-time for a reason. Hey, two-time champion, two-timer. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dr. Disrespect is back. The two-time has recently come back to streaming to address the recent allegations for his Twitch ban about texting a minor using the Twitch Whispers feature. During this time, multiple partnerships cut ties with him, despite him claiming a full investigation was done and there was no foul play.
Maybe it's time to tell my side of the story. Huh, champs? You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement. But apparently, Twitch's own disgruntled employees didn't feel the need to abide by those same obligations. Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any firsthand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whispers messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch's Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. Did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban. You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. Then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM. I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. I even used the word inappropriate, purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
My thing is, if you put minor and inappropriate in a sentence,
in the same sentence, yeah,
that draws you to a certain conclusion, right? Like,
it does.
Like, you're painting that picture. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I can't just be like, hey, me and this minor were playing inappropriately. Nigga, that'll put me on an FBI watch list very quickly, wouldn't it? Like,
you'd be dying. Nigga. And that's what I'm trying to decipher, because he's painting it as if it's not the case, but if he admitted to it himself, that could be used against him. And granted, inappropriate and minor in the same sentence doesn't necessarily mean what we connotate it to mean. But generally speaking, what else could it mean?
When he first made the tweet and stuff like that, he did not help himself by saying inappropriate. He should have said, hey, this is exactly what I said between, or like, these are the kind of jokes that I made between. And the thing is, as of right now, there has been no leaks of the messages. We have not seen any evidence of one way or the other, whether he was texting this person or whether he's not been texting this person. There's been no evidence either way. And I mean, he has it. The NDA has been broken. He could just drop it and say, hey, these are the jokes that I've been making. Because if the jokes weren't that bad, or if the jokes were bad, but they weren't sexual in nature, a lot of people would be like, oh, okay. You know, so he just made some stupid jokes, you know? And in the video, he says, hey, this person wasn't a minor at the time of these messages, why didn't you lead with that?
Why didn't you?
You know what I'm saying?
That?
Why didn't you lead with that? Why didn't you say, hey, this person was not a minor at the time that these messages were done, and also the messages were inappropriate, but they're inappropriate in this way. Like, we need context. We can't just say, hey,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because if someone says, hey, I'm sending inappropriate messages to this person, I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's sexual.
Now, my thing is, like, his inappropriateness, it seems like he said something preemptively. I mean, he said something and then he's backtracking and trying to reframe it into something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know how you say something, then you like, all right, let me construct this, or let me deconstruct this, so this doesn't mean this. And
So
blah,
it doesn't
blah, blah.
look too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense, because why would Twitch ban him? You know what I mean?
Well, to be
Like,
fair,
we're not to say Twitch is not the best judge of character. And,
Yeah.
to be
That's what I was
fair.
gonna say, because
And,
Twitch has done a lot of bans that have been very skeptical for very, very
Exactly.
little.
So, do you think he has a strong case for the fact that Twitch of itself and its reputation for having a bad track record of holding up regulations and equal banning and stuff like that? Do you think, like, within this context of when he got banned, that like he can weasel out of this? Not to say he did anything wrong, but like it does come across as him navigating through this.
There are good points on his side that helps his side. And then, but again, until we don't know how the court case went, we don't know how the litigation went, we don't know anything what happened. We don't know if it's Twitch that sued him, or we don't know if it's him that sued Twitch. We don't know what happened in that case. But the positives that he has on his side is, one, Twitch did, according to him, Twitch did an internal investigation and said they were wrong. And then they did a second internal investigation and also said they were wrong. And then they also went to a real, like, court, real litigation, not internal. A third party observed all the facts. And I don't know what the settlement was. I don't know if he had to pay Twitch or Twitch had to pay him, whatever. But the fact that, and we don't know if it was a civil court, criminal court, all that stuff. Apparently from what the person who leaked it said, is that whenever they find stuff like this, they send it off to like the FBI and stuff like that, because, saying, like, this falls under like child trafficking and stuff like that, or child molestation and all that stuff. So they said that it gets sent off to that whenever they find it. So if it got sent off to them and they also found nothing, then it plays to his point that nothing wrong happened.
Just to juxtapose this, because I did see clips of him when he signed out, like when he got when he took a break. You know what I mean? His mood, his temperament, everything was completely different from what it is now. So I'm presuming that he had a long discussion with his lawyer and his legal team. And they got some ammunition to help defend him, because look at his demeanor now. He's much more confident. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they have a case to argue.
I get he probably has some time to talk to his lawyers, see what he can and can't say, but that should be a day one thing. Like, I'm pretty sure he has lawyers on retainer that he can just talk to at any point and be like, hey, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, I see a tweet, I'm going straight to my lawyer. Hey, what the fuck can I say and what can't I say? You know what I'm saying? What's going to get me in trouble? What's not going to get me in trouble? We need to be handling this shit within the week.
Yeah.
Because now he took a break of a couple months. Doesn't have any monetization. Everybody thinks he's a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, I think he's still going to be successful enough because, one, there's people that just don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then there's also people that like a villain, just like how Andrew Tate and all that stuff happened with them.
That's true.
And they still, you know what I'm saying, they still want to watch him. The shit with Fresh and Fit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think maybe he does have a case just because of how strongly he's coming out, but I feel like his money's already been fucked up and it's going to be hard to recover what he had, you know what I'm saying, from before the allegations.
True.
But let's keep watching.
If all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words. And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here. We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were legal. You see, I engage with my community. I engage with other streamers. And through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games and gaming politics, content creation, random stuff. This was the extent of my whispers with this Twitch user. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged. On June 24th, 2020, Twitch's special operations team receives and reviews the user's report. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any further escalation to Twitch's law enforcement response team. That would have been the end. That should have been the end. He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do? He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team, remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team. He escalates the report to a friend on Twitch's LER team. So a day later, on June 25th, the LER analyst pulls the entirety of the whisper messages and begins discussing them with his director of the LER team. Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time and does not have access to their computer or work files. The LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context from the whisper messages to this director. Now, if you do this, you can make anyone's messages look inappropriate, even when they aren't. Within less than 1 hour, this LER analyst and his director have made the decision to suspend me from Twitch. Twitch submits a report to NCMEC. You guys all read those little articles, huh? The NCMEC. Twitch submits that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what? As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report. As far as I know, they didn't escalate Twitch's report to law enforcement.
Yeah, so I think you were right. I think he did talk to his lawyers, and I mean, he started bringing up dates, started bringing up pretty much what happened internally. And again, this is all alleged. We don't have any documentation or anything like that. Nothing. I mean, neither side has come in like giving us like, hey, this is specifically what happened. This is when this report happened and stuff like that. But the fact that he's coming out with so much information, with so much confidence, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's like saying like this happened and it didn't happen, he can easily be sued for slander, libel, anything. You know, he can be held accountable for it. Especially saying it on a big public platform. Anyone could take these clips. Like it's not going away.
I want to see how this goes, because if that's the case, it still wouldn't explain why he used inappropriate and minor if it wasn't a minor. You know what I'm saying? Like if he said that they didn't do their legal due diligence to determine whether or not the messages between him and X person was authentically a minor, why would he go on the tweet and use the word minor?
Yeah, and that's why I think, because again, he led in with this because he did say like the person was not a minor at the time, but he also came out with a tweet and admitted that he had inappropriate messages with a minor. And he also said the word inappropriate. So again, if you knew all this happened, you know all this information, even without going to your lawyers, you've been through arbitration. You said it was multi-years, cost a lot of money. You know pretty much every detail of the case that happened because you were going through it.
Exactly.
You know, so why would you lead in with, hey, I had inappropriate messages with a minor, when one, the inappropriate messages could have been, again, crass jokes. We don't know specifically what was inappropriate about that conversation, but it could have just been rude jokes. Could have been about the person, could have been about the weather, could have been about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then also, he said at one point the person wasn't a minor at the time of the messages. Did you start messaging when they were a minor? And then at the time of the messages that were bad, were they not a minor anymore? Because if that's the angle that you're going with, you also need to explain that. Just say, hey, if it's that specific situation, say, hey, this is a person in my community that when I first started talking to them, they were a minor, but we only spoke about game things related to politics, games related, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say, I texted a minor inappropriately and expect the internet to just be like, oh, well, nah, he's Doc, he's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know Doc. Like, nigga, I don't know you. Your personality on Twitch. You could be doing all type. You could be a serial murderer for all I know. You know, like, I don't know you. I just know what you do on camera. I don't know what you do off camera.
While admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
Yeah, you lost me, because as soon as you say age of consent in the jurisdiction where the person is at, like, you lose me. You lose me. I'm not gonna lie. When you got to start talking about age of consent, like, you lost me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
you get
exactly.
people that that's like the red pill niggas that be talking about, the age of consent in Canada is 16. I'm like, nigga, why do you know that off the top of your head?
Why do you know this off the top of your head?
You know what I'm saying? They were like, in New Zealand it's only 15. I'm like, nigga, why do you know this? Like, why is that just like that you can just pull up that knowledge without having to Google it? That's weird.
That's how I know when people, like when Drake was going through his situation with Chris Maybe, and he I guess kissed this 17-year-old girl on stage. Yeah. Niggas was in the comments like, well, in the state of Colorado, the age of consent is 16 or some shit like that. I'm like, bro,
why do you know that?
What the fuck?
Why do you know that? That's so weird. Like, isn't that weird?
You know what's crazy? We just had this conversation about how you said, like, if you start bringing up technicalities or you start bringing up all these different things, and the next clip is him talking about age of consent, and that's so crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Like, ain't that crazy? Ain't that, like, it's so weird. Like, look, he had a strong case to me, and then he was like, yeah, but the age of consent, I'm like, yep. Come on, man. Like,
it's the whole thing that you said. Like, if you was talking to someone when they was a minor and he wasn't inappropriate, and then as soon as they became of legal age and it became inappropriate, then you over here toying with the toy. That's technically a grooming case.
That is a grooming case. Yeah.
That's a grooming case right there.
That is a grooming case. Yeah. Which, hey, shout out Aubrey. No, you're right, because if it was like he was talking to a minor and then, you know what I'm saying, they hit 18, 12 a.m. on the dot, and they was like, all right, send me your titties. Like, you know, technically not a minor, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't it still weird? Like,
he was in that.
Like, you probably still need to be banned. You probably still need to be suspended. Like, just get that nigga off the platform. Keep him off, nigga. Like,
he's tending the fields, nigga, like Animal Crossing. He just waiting. All right. You know what trips me out the most is, like, he said you heard him in the video. He said, I purposefully or I intentionally said the words inappropriate in the tweet, but you didn't have the intention to expand upon that. Like,
like, look,
you feel me? Like,
look, and this is just my take. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong, but I've seen 2 cases where people have made themselves out to be pedophiles and it hasn't worked. Number 1 was Drake, and number 2 was this one. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, court of public opinion, this shit does not seem like it's working. Like, coming down and being like, oh yeah, I'm inappropriate with minors, just doesn't seem like a good plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem like a good stance to take. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, PR teams in 2024 is like, bro, what is going on?
If I logged into Twitter and then it was like, hey, I was inappropriate with the minor, I'd be looking at my phone like, fuck. I'd be writing a resignation letter and trying to find somebody else to work for, nigga. This shit is harder than being Kanye's PR team, nigga. Bro, pedophile allegations. Yeah. Nigga, look what happened to Drake. That nigga has not had a hit since he got labeled a pedophile, nigga. That nigga can't bring nobody on, nigga. That nigga got 2 lines out of Cardi. That nigga used to get whole verses. That nigga Cardi said, no face. No face. Nigga, that might have been AI. He didn't even have Cardi in the room, nigga. Actually, stop. The pedophile angle is not working. It doesn't work. Nobody wants to be your friend after this. Stop. Please stop.
No,
stop.
That's career suicide right there.
And it's so easy to avoid, nigga. Like, it's so easy. am I wrong? Like, it's so easy to avoid.
Nigga said, just don't do it.
Like, don't do it, nigga. Like, it's so easy. Again, loving wife, kids, mansion, cars, supercars, all that shit. Nigga's living the life in his 30s. There's only one way he could fuck it up. There's only one way he could fuck it up. Beach. There's one way. Like, just if he killed somebody, they wouldn't care. He cheated on his wife. And guess what? They said, oh, well, he's the two-time for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he's the two-time for a reason. Hey, two-time champion, two-timer. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't give a fuck. True. There's only one way he can ruin his career.
The two-timer is a cool ass little title.
Bro,
right,
like,
yeah.
On top of the world. There's only one way he could fuck it up.
No, that's crazy.
And you know what he could have done? He could have just not did it. He could have just cheated on his wife some more. He could have been the 3-time, the 4-time, the 6-time, nigga. And niggas would have just been like, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? She's crying in the Lambo. She's happy. Well, she's not happy, but like, I don't know. Like, he started getting me in with the dates and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, internal investigations and all that stuff. But then he lost me with the age of consent. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that shattered the whole argument for me.
Yeah.
And he might be right. Like, he might be correct. He might be standing on the correct side. But like, that age of consent thing is, that was wild to come out of his mouth. I'm not gonna lie. This nigga's 40. This nigga's 40.
I know his wife's in there like, bro, come on.
My contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's fucking unbelievable! I'm not going to get into every detail regarding my legal case. But these former Twitch employees that claim to have firsthand knowledge, they just don't have a clue. They didn't report any facts. The judge in the case determined that the whispers were not illegal. So then why did Twitch use these messages against me? Why did Twitch treat the doc so differently from their other streamers? I mean, outside of the obvious. Go back and look at the timing of all this too. Huh. The doc's termination lines up with 2 preferable, profitable, and expensive streamers leaving Mixer. As soon as Twitch knew that Mixer had failed, and go look at the timing. These other expensive streamers needed a new streaming platform. So Twitch rushed through its decision to terminate the 2-time. You see, I shouldn't even be banned from Twitch. And Cody, Connors, I just have to say it again. Why would you do this? Like I said, this was handled professionally years ago. No fucking wrongdoing. But because of you, Cody, we just lost. Fuck, man. Unfortunately, we have to lay off people from Midnight Society. Right? Because of you, Cody. And I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, champs. I'm not denying that to all of you out there. It looks bad. I have no way of knowing if the Twitch user thought our exchange of whispers was inappropriate. If it was, I apologize. All I know is that I never did what Twitch, Cody Connors, or the public is claiming that I did. That's it. I'm not saying anything more about any of this, right? Unless I need to, because trust me, I have more I haven't disclosed. I just want to get back to what we do best. Put on a show and climb our way to the tippity top of the mountain, man. In our own lane.
Did he sway me? No, because some of the language that he used still puts a cloud of doubt in my mind that I kind of need to see more evidence of, like, hey, what was said? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, I see the spin where he tries to put this all on one person leaking stuff that they probably shouldn't have leaked. And again, fair, they probably shouldn't have leaked it. But some of his language was kind of weird to me. And that's why I'm not fully like, hey, I don't think there was any foul play or anything like that. Again, if they did internal investigations and all that stuff, good. But again, I've seen the court fail sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just take his word and be like, oh, well, because the court, you can game the court system. You could have things that are inadmissible in court. You can have things that you get thrown out and stuff like that. So I don't know. Without seeing the court case or any of the legal documents or anything like that, I can't say, hey, one way or another that he's guilty or not. This really didn't persuade me about his innocence. Because even when it first came out, I was like, hey, this is a very heavy allegation. Let's see where the evidence comes out. And then he made his tweet sounding very guilty. And I was like, okay, so he's admitting to, you know what I'm saying, messaging a minor and having inappropriate messages and stuff like that. In his own words, he said it. So it's not like another company came out and was like, hey, he did this and blah, blah, blah. He said it in his own words. So I was like, okay, well, I got to take what he says at face value because he's his own best defender.
Yeah, so exactly.
I'm not swayed by it.
So I feel similarly. I'm not swayed by it, and it's because of the language that he used. The strategy that he used in this return video, to what I acknowledge, is he didn't really address anything that he said. If you said the NDA is over and he can actually talk about it, this is a grand opportunity to clarify any sort of misconceptions that he had previously before the NDA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he didn't attempt to do any of that. What he did was he diverted the attention as he victimized himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in victimizing yourself, you still didn't explain what happened, right?
Yeah.
Like, you victimize yourself, and that could very well be true. Like you said, Cody, whatever his name is, could have very well breached contract and exposed things that he wasn't supposed to. And you can have an individual case against him, but that still doesn't explain the situation. You know what I mean? Like, you this long video that you just gave us, this 22-minute video, didn't give us any disclosures about what's going on. It didn't give us any perspective about the minor herself or the so-called non-minor. You didn't explain the inappropriateness in its context. You know what I mean? You didn't do anything to clarify anything that we previously held. You just accused us of misappropriating it. You know what I mean? Misappropriating it. But
yeah.
you didn't tell us what we misappropriated. You didn't do anything to let us know what we got wrong. You just said we got it wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's
not clarification. You need to justify your argument. And I noticed that, and I was like, okay. And this might, he's, like you said, people are going to like him regardless. And he could very well still be successful after this, even if he's still wrong. But until further evidence comes out, I'm not convinced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, so my personal opinion, I'm not swayed by this, but I think objectively, people will be swayed by this because, again, number one, he's a very charismatic guy. He's a very likable guy. The people that like him are going to like him, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what happens. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this gave enough ammunition to be able to stand in his corner.
Yeah.
Because of the vagueness and like he didn't actually really address anything, and he was like, he kind of like puts the blame on Cody Connors and victimizes himself. The people that want to defend him and watch him and stuff like that, they're going to come out and be like, okay, well, actually, it's all Cody's fault, not really Doc's fault, because, you know what I'm saying, they already did the investigation, they already did this, and then, you know what I'm saying, like, he gave us some of the findings, but he didn't really contextualize some of the stuff, like the real details that we wanted to know. I think that's the best course of action for him, and I'm pretty sure he talked to his PR team about it, because the more that he tries to get into it and like take the apology route and stuff like that, everyone's gonna be like, okay, he's admitting fault. He you know what I'm saying, like he's gonna lose out in a court of public opinion. You can't defend being a pedophile. Like you just can't.
You can't.
So taking this route where he's more so of a victim and he's saying like, hey, nothing really inappropriate was, and this is how Twitch handled it and they did it poorly. I'm a victim. You should be helping me. like taking this spin on it is definitely way better PR, way better for his career, and it's gonna make him more successful in the long run. And if after this video, if people still try to attack him with them, if they don't come out with like actual messages and like evidence of stuff of him doing anything wrong, he doesn't have to respond to this ever again. Like he pretty much won. He won.
Exactly. I agree. I was like, this guy's kind of cool. I would watch a video. I'll give him a chance.
And again, like I never watched his content, but from the clips I've seen of him and stuff like that, dude's funny. Dude's very charismatic. I mean, of course, people are gonna want to watch him, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a nigga on the internet.